Before Darth Vader, there was Anakin Skywalker, the Jedi with more raw potential than anyone in galactic history. Born of prophecy and created by the Force itself, Anakin didn't just have power, he was power. His midichlorian count exceeded even Yoda's, and some believed he was the reincarnation of a Force god, sent to bring balance. Anakin's powers were frighteningly vast. His Force precognition allowed him to see attacks before they happened, and his reflexes bordered on supernatural. He once pod raced at age 9, something no human had ever done. He mastered telekinesis to the point of casually hurling battle droids, crushing enemy tanks, and even choking people mid-conversation. He could sense emotions, read intentions, and see visions of the future, a gift that became a curse when he foreshadowed Padme's death. As a duelist, Anakin was almost unstoppable. He combined Form V, Jimso, with raw aggression, overpowering even masters like Count Dooku. His lightsaber skills were so brutal that even General Grievous kept his distance. But what made him truly terrifying was his mindset. When pushed, Anakin let go. He stopped holding back, and when that happened, entire squads of enemies fell in seconds. Few Jedi ever rivaled Anakin's connection to the Force, and no one ever matched the path he walked, rising from slave to knight, from hero to Sith, and finally back to the light, fulfilling the prophecy in his final breath. If Anakin was the chosen one, then Luke was the galaxy's last gamble, a farm boy with nothing who became the most powerful Jedi of his era. But what made Luke special wasn't just his bloodline, it was how fast and how far he grew. Luke had no formal training for most of his life, but within days of meeting Obi-Wan, he was already sensing the Force and deflecting blaster bolts blindfolded. By The Empire Strikes Back, he was lifting objects with his mind and briefly standing toe-to-toe with Darth Vader. But that was just the beginning. After Return of the Jedi, Luke entered a whole new tier. In Legends, he became the Grand Master of a new Jedi Order and learned powers that hadn't been seen in millennia. He could survive in space, become invisible, walk through matter, and create illusions so real they could fool Sith Lords. He learned battle meditation, telepathic resistance, and Force Light, a power so pure it could purge dark side energy from living beings. In one famous moment, he casually walked through a battlefield, dodging blaster fire, cutting down tanks, and disarming hundreds of soldiers like they were nothing. Luke had become a living embodiment of the Force, and in the Disney canon, we see glimpses of that power too, like when he projected himself across the galaxy to confront Kylo Ren, and died not in pain, but in peace. Luke Skywalker wasn't just powerful, he was the Jedi who brought balance without falling to darkness, a new hope who rebuilt what his father destroyed. He wasn't the fastest, he wasn't the strongest, but Obi-Wan Kenobi was the Jedi you didn't want to face, because he already outthought you before you drew your blade. Known as the Negotiator, Obi-Wan embodied Jedi discipline, patience, and clarity. He mastered telekinesis, precognition, and mind tricks. His defensive abilities were unmatched. He blocked blaster bolts with casual precision, resisted Force attacks, and maintained calm in situations where others would break. His Force barrier could survive explosions and falling debris, and he centered himself through intense focus. In lightsaber combat, Obi-Wan was a master of Form 3, So, the ultimate defensive form. He wore opponents down, blocked endless attacks, and struck only when the moment was right. It's how he defeated General Grievous, and it's how he defeated Anakin Skywalker. After the fall of the Jedi, Obi-Wan went into exile, but he never stopped protecting Luke. In the end, he gave his life so Luke could live on and returned as a Force ghost to continue guiding him. Obi-Wan Kenobi wasn't the loudest Jedi, but he was the one you could always count on. Don't let the size fool you. Yoda wasn't just the oldest Jedi on the Council. He was one of the most powerful beings in galactic history. Living over 900 years, Yoda trained Jedi for 8 centuries and personally shaped the fate of the Order itself. But his wisdom was matched by raw ability. Yoda had an incredible deep connection to the Force. He was a master of telekinesis, capable of lifting starships, halting objects mid-air, and shielding others with the Force. His Force sense was so refined that he could feel disturbances across the galaxy. He also mastered Force empathy, mind probing, and Force velour, allowing him to enhance his physical abilities far beyond normal limits. In combat, Yoda was a legend. He specialized in Form 4, Ataru, an acrobatic lightsaber style that let him leap, spin, and overwhelm much larger opponents. He dueled Count Dooku and even Darth Sidious himself, deflecting Force lightning, nearly matching the Dark Lord blow for blow. His speed and agility made him a blur in battle, but it was his restraint that made him dangerous. And his greatest power came after death. Yoda was among the first Jedi in a millennia to return as a Force ghost. Even in the afterlife, he could summon lightning, teach future Jedi, and influence the galaxy without ever lifting a blade. He wasn't just powerful. Yoda was the soul of the Jedi Order, a warrior, a mystic, and a teacher to every era. He wasn't a council member, but Qui-Gon Jinn may have been the wisest Jedi of his age. While others followed rules, he followed the will of the Force. He believed in the living Force, the here and now. He acted on instinct, even when it meant defying the Jedi Council. He had powerful Force empathy, telepathy, and mind tricks, and was one of the first to sense the Sith's return. In combat, he used Form 4, Ataru, and went blade to blade with Darth Maul. Though he was killed, his legacy endured. Qui-Gon was the first Jedi in millennia to learn how to retain his consciousness after death. His spirit lived on, guiding others and helping future generations master the Force. Qui-Gon Jinn was the Jedi the Order needed, but didn't deserve. Born Caleb Dune, Kanan Jarrus survived Order 66 and spent years hiding from the Force. But when he met Ezra Bridger, everything changed. He relearned his power, telekinesis, mind tricks, and Force reflexes. And even after losing his sight, he learned to see through the Force itself. Blind but more connected than ever, Kanan became a true Jedi. He trained Ezra, battled Inquisitors, and led the Ghost Crew with heart and courage. His final act was pure sacrifice, giving his life to save his family. Kanan Jarrus wasn't born a legend, he became one by choosing hope over fear and love over survival. Most Jedi feared the dark side. Mace Windu mastered it without ever falling. He was one of the most powerful warriors the Jedi Order ever produced, and in combat, arguably unmatched. He created and mastered Vaapad, a lightsaber form so aggressive it bordered on darkness. Vaapad fed off the opponent's dark energy, allowing Windu to reflect their rage back at them. He used it to defeat Sora Bulk, and most famously, he overpowered Darth Sidious in direct combat. Mace also had a rare Force ability called Shatterpoint, the power to sense fractures and weaknesses in people, objects, or events. It gave him strategic edge no other Jedi had. He was a master of telekinesis, speed, and combat intuition. He once destroyed an entire droid army by himself. But Mace was also rigid. He never trusted Anakin, and when the time came to end Sidious, he acted, but was betrayed. Mace Windu didn't die easily. His body was never found, and in legends and fan theory, his story may not be over. He walked the edge of the dark side and never blinked. The Jedi may be gone, but their legacy lives on, in stories, in the Force, and in us. Which Jedi do you think had the greatest power? Let me know in the comments, and may the Force be with you.